Hey guys, today I'm reviewing my favorite game of the Anti-Chess World Championship so far. This is a match between Ten and Kex. It was a semifinals just last week. So this happens to be the first game that um, Ten is white, and he opens with e3 and Kex goes with the Polish, and then Ten goes ahead and pushes e4, which is definitely something that Kex wasn't prepared for. Um, I've actually never seen this before. I don't play the Polish as black, so I guess that makes sense that I hadn't seen it. But I've never thought to move e4 before, which is a little bit surprising because as black I push e5 quite a bit, which everyone knows, which isn't usually the smartest of ideas. But Ten's got some plans here, and this definitely threw Kex off because he spent a little time trying to figure out, like, all right, what should I be doing with this? And he kind of proceeds with kind of like a normal, the next steps in the Polish is black, and starts to threaten on b2. And Ten did some prep here and kind of has a trap set up, and he pulls out his queen, which turns out that in this position is actually mate in 17. Obviously, there's a lot of options here, and it's not something that you can go and memorize all the different lines. But I think Ten's got it planned here where he can get himself into a good position and get mate. And I found this game very interesting, and as I've gone back to look at it, there are so many just different ways for white to win this one. Like, black is just in a real pickle here. So Kex goes in and attacks on b2, which is the only space that he has, and Ten captures back. And in this particular spot, this is still mate for white. If for some reason black tries to do something about the bishop, that's moving to g6 isn't actually anything, because white can capture the rook, and then black has to capture the pawn, and then white can come back and then grab black's bishop and run him that way, and that's mate. So Kex goes ahead and sacks a piece, opens up his bishop, and then we kind of get to the next move where Kex thinks for a long time, still trying to figure out what's a safe move in this particular position. And I think he started to get under some time pressure and decided, hey, how about I just try to make this more complex? So he brings his knight into the game and is attacking both a covered square and a non-covered square, which is kind of a smart thing to do, because then that gives you some options if you need to keep attacking. Ten then presses and attacks the g7 square, which is trying to grab the dark squared bishop still, and so that kind of forces Kex to take on c2, because if he takes on a2, then Ten's going to end up with Kex's bishop. So he attacks on c2, and then Ten takes the bishop on f8, and so we kind of get to this next spot. And I think when I was casting this game with Polo, that I had seen this particular set of moves. After he captures the bishop, I kind of noticed that, hey, we've got an attack on c5 followed by c7, which is also a mate, where you're going to end up with his rook covering that and having to come down and attack here. So I'll run through that real quick. If the same thing still happens, if Kex comes over here and takes on this space, then we can go ahead. Ten can then capture this pawn. Kex only has one capture, and then now we've got the rook and that's a simple enough cleaning. Go back a few spaces. So then if Kex takes the king, which is kind of his only option, we could go this line, which is what I saw in the game, capturing here. So Kex only has that for his attack, and oops, wrong order. We got to kill this first, and then come up here, and now we've got his rook. And so that's kind of like, hey, shift back and forth, probably come down here, coming across, probably just push, and then do something silly like this, and then you can trade some pieces away. So that was a cool line that I found in the game. I think, let's see, still a little further back. What ended up happening is 10 took on c5 with this queen, which is still safe. It's still ends up working to mate, but kind of the thing that happens here. So he's got Kex's knight, but the problem is he's got like 7 seconds on his clock. And if you're looking at this, it's like, all right, is there a mate? And there is a mate, but 10 didn't find it. I know when I was watching the game in this position, I didn't see it either. He goes ahead and pushes f4, which is right, but then he jumps over to g3 when what he actually should have done was come to d3, and this is, again, harder to see, and under time pressure, you're just not going to find all of that. So you can come over here and grab the rook and get mate there. So it was unfortunate that he missed that. So instead, 10 went with g3, and then I think at this point now the tables have turned, and now Kex is in a better position. He has more material, and he's, threatening this space. And I don't know, I didn't do a lot of analysis at this point to see if there was a way out for 10, but it was definitely a tough position. And then he only had 5 seconds, and Kex was short on time too, so he needed to be moving fast too. This was kind of just like I need to move piece, create some space, and I just need to move. So he moved that piece, and then Kex finds this awesome little combination here, pulls over 10's pawn, and then grabs his rook, and then does an intermediate in order to get the win, which we all know I love that. And 10 saw it right away and resigned. On the stream I said I would have liked to see it play out just because it's cool to see. But so that's my favorite game of the World Championship so far. I thought 10 coming up with that innovation and finding that line that led to so many mates. Like if you go through and examine that game, like black just has nowhere to go in that position. And I think that Polo pointed out the correct response that Penny had showed him at one point. So I'm kind of curious. I randomly tried playing e4 against the Polish last night and got a win against a strong player, and so I might try it a little bit more. It was kind of a fun thing, so maybe we'll see that more. But great game by 10 and good finish by Kex to find that intermediate. So see you guys next time.